choosing to change your life. If you are that person and perhaps you are feeling a little stuck, maybe you feel like you don't have a real plan to move forward, or you just feel like you really don't have time, you don't know how you're going to make this happen. Maybe you're not making the progress that you would love to make or feel like you should be making. Or how about every time I get started, something goes wrong? Stuff just keeps going wrong. Honey, this the thing for you. This the session for you. This right here is the moment for you. Hey y'all, hey, it's Dr. D, and I know a little bit about this. I was 42 years old when I decided to blow my life up. When I decided to leave my stable job, when I decided to let go of all the things I'd always known, when I decided to really take a big leap, take a bigger risk, and change my life. And so that's why I come here to share with y'all today. Hey, Dr. Steph. Hey, hey, what's going on? And if you're live, give me a hey, what's up? What's going on? And if you're catching this in the replay, give me a hashtag replay and come on, join in with me and let's make this an interactive session. I want to tell you, great morning, and Educators Life, good morning. So you can do this. You can do this. There are too many people who have done it. There's no need to be afraid. And even if you are afraid, because I was scared to death, but guess what? I did it anyway. So let me tell you what the number one key is. We're not going to wait around. We're going to just get right into it. We got to address some of these limiting beliefs that we have. Like the reason why we are scared to move forward, to follow a new plan, to do something different. And even the fact that we believe that we're starting over, when we're not starting over, we already have a firm foundation. We're just adding on to that. Those are all limiting beliefs. When you say things like, good morning, Nords, good morning, Jen, it's popping. When you say things like, I'm tired, I'm sick of this, or I'm always late. You know, I don't pay for stuff like that, girl. I don't do that. Or I ain't got time for that. I don't have time to do that. This takes too much time. I'm already overwhelmed. The first thing we got to do is start with the words that we're saying. I'm just letting us know. Like the first thing we got to do is think about the words that are coming out of our mouth and thoughts that we're having about who we are and what it is we can do. Good morning, Care Cozy. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So I want us to first, we got to address the limiting beliefs, but we're going to start with words that we say. And where do those words come from? They come from our thoughts. And where do those thoughts come from? We're going to address that too. So when we say things, think about the things that people know that you say, because words have power. And when people think about you, they think about the words that you say. Even if you take a moment and you think about me, some of you all have only encountered me on a few times, and then others of you have been with me for a year. Some people have been following me for 2 and 3 years. Think about what you know it is that I say. People think about when they think about you, they think about the words that you say. You hear me telling you abundance is your birthright. Bet on yourself. You have the skills and talents and abilities to do anything you want. You already have everything that you need. Now, I want you to think about the words that you say. The words that you say. Those are the things that people are remembering you for. And so what I had to do was change the words, how people thought about me. And that was the energy that I was given to them, given out. And that's also a lot of those limiting beliefs that we have. When we think about those limiting beliefs, and we have to identify. So I'm going to give you 5 steps to be able to level up your life over 40. I'm going to give you 5 steps. And the first one is you got to identify your limiting beliefs. And see, a lot of times we don't know where these limiting beliefs came from, because there are things that you've been told and the things that you believe. Some of the things you've been told, that's right, Dr. Steph, the mind is a battlefield. It's a battlefield. And we got to determine whether we're going to allow these bombs and explosives to keep going off. And we can also get off the battlefield. We can say, I'm no longer at war. I've made peace with myself. I've made peace with my past. I've made peace with the relationships in my life, and I'm no longer at war. And I'm going to always be on the offense, not the defense. So when you're on the offense, you're at the top of the hill. When you're on the offense, you're at the top and you see the battleships coming in. You're at the top. You can see them and you can launch an attack before they're even able to attack you. You got to put yourself in the right position. And you do that by understanding who you are, by being aware, by paying attention to yourself. But many times we're so busy taking care of other people, paying attention to other people, worrying about what other people say. We can't take the time to pay attention to ourselves, figure out what it is we're thinking and feeling, and control our own emotions, our thoughts, and our communication. So I love that, Dr. Steph, because you're absolutely right. And we got to get on the offense at the top. If you're at the top of the hill, that's why they always tell you the best position in war is up top, because the people down below, you're going to see them before they see you. And it's also going to put you in a better position to win the war. So let's keep going. So I want you to first, step one, identify your limiting beliefs. Identify them. Like if you're really serious about this, like I told y'all, this month, I'm showing up. I'm showing up more and more every day. You see, and that means you got to get me with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Some days you're going to see me and I look real presentable. Some days you're going to see me and I may not, because if I'm going to keep my commitment, then that means that I can't let excuses like, oh, my hair ain't done. Oh, I don't feel good today. I can't let those excuses stand in my way. And so you got to understand, you got to identify what are your limiting beliefs? What are the things that you've been told, and what are the things that you believe that are keeping you back? Let's think about some of us. The first one that I always think about, and this may not be the first one you think about, but money is the root to all evil. Money is the root to all evil. A lot of us have been brought up thinking that. A lot of us have been told that. We've been told that at home. We've been told that at church. We've been told that in media. We've been told that in culture. And we really believe that. We believe that money is the root to all evil. And so then we say things like, I don't want to have a lot of money. I just want to be comfortable. I just need enough to get by. Those are limiting beliefs, people. I want you to ask yourself, why do you believe that? Why do you believe that? And if you're really serious, get a piece of paper down and write down these beliefs. If you're really serious, put your limiting belief in the comments, because it's a reason why we're at a stage in our life where we feel like we can't do the thing that we want to do. There's a reason why we're at a stage in our life where we feel like we're stuck. It's a reason why we feel like we can't move forward. There's a reason why we feel like we don't have time when everybody gets the same 24 hours in a day. There's a reason why you believe that every time you get started, something stops you. There's a reason for that. So if we begin to address some of the beliefs that we have, we can get to crack the code of why we are the way that we are. So some of y'all, and this is very common in the Black household, let me say this. People will say, girl, you just like your mama. Girl, you act just like your mama. Girl, you mean as a bear. You just like your mama. That's a limiting belief. They've limited you to be just like your mama. And you, what do you do with that? Like, what do you do with that? And you know how your mama was, and you know, were they saying that because that's a good thing? Or are they saying that because that's a bad thing? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself, why is that? Dr. Steph says, money answers all matters. I have things to do and goals to fulfill. That's correct. Absolutely. What about this one? Some people, because again, this for my over 40 crew, you've been married, you've been in a relationship, and somebody, it didn't work out. And then you think to yourself, oh, I shouldn't have married him. If I hadn't never married him, I'd have been further along in life. He ruined my life. He made my life hell. That's a limiting belief. That's a limiting belief. That's a limiting belief. I know you're probably thinking, how is that a limiting belief? It's a limiting belief. I want you to ask yourself, why do you believe that's true? Why do you believe that's true? So you didn't get anything good out of the relationship. It didn't do anything positive for you. It didn't. And what would happen to your life had you not? I'm not saying it was perfect, but there was something that made you engage in that relationship and that you appreciated about the relationship. And so I'm not saying that it didn't end on a bad note or that it didn't have to end, but I'm saying the way that you perceive it is limiting you from moving forward. There are some other people who will say, girl, I done made bad decisions all my life. I just made bad decisions all my life. What are you saying? No, we're not owning that. No. That's a limiting belief. You're limiting yourself to only bad decisions. Dr. Steph says, been divorced too, so I got to get back my power. Exactly. Exactly. The divorce happened, but there were good things in the marriage. And we have to think to ourselves, why did that divorce take away all of our power? Why did we allow that divorce to take away our power? And it's okay, I understand. Like when two people come together to create a life, there is a lot of stuff tied up in that. Your household finances are tied up in that. Your time is tied up in that. Your heart and soul is tied up in that. But now ask yourself, why was everything invested in that one thing? And were you appropriately investing things in other things? And it's okay if the answer is no, I was not, because now that you know better, you can do better. Now that you know better, you can do better. That's right. Every setback is a comeback. And she got two beautiful girls out of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it was purposeful. It just wasn't permanent. It was purposeful. It just wasn't permanent. And everything is not meant to be permanent. And so those are some limiting beliefs. Then we have some people who have the limiting beliefs. I'm just sharing with you some ideas so you can begin to identify your limiting beliefs. What are your limiting beliefs? Jen, as Papa says, even the bad that happened has helped me to grow. Absolutely. But it's all about perspective. Bad things happen to everybody. For every good, there's a bad. It's just what you choose to focus on. Some people have had family members and parents and loved ones who have told them ain't nobody gonna ever love you. You ain't lovable. Ain't nobody gonna never love you. And we took that in and we let that seep into our system. And so then we are desperate for love. We are accepting any and everything. B. Wilkinson says, right. We are accepting anything. We are just because they've destroyed our self-value. That's right. The devil is a liar. But there are people who your mom told you that ain't nobody gonna love you. There are some people who our family members have told us, girl, ain't nobody finna marry you at 50. You ain't getting married. Girl, ain't no men out here. Girl, all these men are dogs. You ain't nobody fit. Girl, you may as well learn how to live by yourself. Look here, people. Those are limiting beliefs. First of all, who is telling you this? And second of all, why are you talking to them? And third of all, if you believe that, why do you believe that? I just left a wedding of a good girlfriend who was 49 years old, who just got married for the second time in a beautiful relationship. They adore one another. 49 years old. So I know that love happens again. I got a sister who is in her second marriage, year 4. I think year 4. Second marriage. And you know what? Even if the second one don't work out, sis, let's get ready for number 3. Let's get ready for number 3. Stop giving up on stuff. Those are limiting beliefs. And everything ain't meant to be permanent. I just need us to know that. Then there are some, let me give you this one, some of these limiting beliefs. And this is where we get all of these mental blocks and hangups from. Girl, you need to go put on a girdle. Your butt too big. We got people who are teenagers out here wearing girdles. We got people who won't leave out the house without a girdle on because you believe that your body is not good enough to be seen the way that it was created. You are so busy trying to make other people comfortable because they got a problem because your butt jiggled. Guess what? Your butt was made to jiggle. Your butt was made to jiggle. And so you need to think about that parent, that grandma, that auntie, that friend, that cousin who told you, girl, you need to put on a girdle. And I'm talking about the people who are wearing them because of insecurities, because when you were a child, people told you you needed to wear a girdle. When you were a teenager, They told you this is what you need to do. And now your self-esteem is crushed unless you got that girdle on. We got to think about where these things come from. Where do they come from? Where do we accept them into? And why are they there? And are they things that we need to deal with and get rid of? So another one, I don't have time to exercise. I ain't got time to take care of my skin. I don't have time to eat healthy. Or these things that you say to yourself, or these things that you wish you did, but you don't ever do, or these things that you can relate to. These are limiting beliefs. We have time for whatever we want time for. We make time for the things that are a priority for us. But because we have told ourselves, I'm so busy, I got so many things to do, I don't have time to rest. I don't have time to take a nap. I don't have time to get 8 hours of sleep because I need to do these 26 other things that are not for me, but are for other people. And I want you to ask yourself, why? Why? And then here's a limiting belief. I'm not a morning person. I'm not a morning person. I hear people say that all the time. I'm not a morning person. That's a limiting belief. If you ask yourself, why? Like, ask yourself why, which is step number 2. Whenever you figure out your limiting belief, then I want you to flip the script and I want you to ask yourself why. Why am I not a morning person? Who told me this? So when you ask yourself why I'm not a morning person, why? Because I stay up late at night. Why? Because I'm watching TV, because I'm, walking around the house cleaning up. Why? Because I was doing some other stuff when I got off work this evening. I cooked dinner, I did this. Why? If you keep asking yourself why, you're going to get to the root of, oh, I'm doing too many other things and not prioritizing my time. So you went to bed late. You didn't go to bed until 1 o'clock. Well, of course, you're not going to be happy waking up at 5 a.m. You went to bed at 2 a.m. Of course, a 6 a.m. wake up is going to make you very frustrated and not put you in a good mood. It's not that you're not a morning person. That's a limiting belief. You have not taken care of yourself so that you are well rested in the morning. And so because you feel cranky and mad and upset, therefore, you feel like you're not a morning person. So the next question I want you to ask yourself is it true? Because if it's true, it's not a limiting belief. If it's not true, it's a limiting belief. Is it true? I'm not a morning person. It's not true because you didn't do the things that you needed to do to feel rested in the morning. So the next thing, I hear people say, I don't have enough money. That's a limiting belief. You're owning the fact that I don't have enough money. That's a limiting belief. That is a limiting belief. Even if you go down the tunnel of why, ask yourself the question, why? Who told you this? I don't have enough money. Because when I pay all my bills, my money is gone. Well, why? Because I got 6 subscriptions, and the car note that is $800 a month, and my car insurance is $300 a month, and my house note is $1,700 a month, and I only make $4,000 in a month. Why? Because I'm a school teacher. Why? Because that's the job that I decided that I wanted. Why? If you go down that why, you'll realize this is a limiting belief. You can be a teacher and not relegate yourself to only make $4,000 a month. You can do what it is you want to do, but it's multiple ways to do it. But you've limited yourself to believing that that's the only way. And so you say, I don't have enough money, when what you need to be saying is, I'm working on increasing my income. I'm working on increasing my income. Dr. Steph says, even if it don't look like it, I'm saying I have more than enough. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. So the first thing we got to do is stop talking about yourself, saying negative things about yourself, saying things that are keeping you stuck, that are keeping you limited. And you got to start talking to yourself. See, I can't do all that negative talk to myself. I say, girl, you got this. Girl, we're going to make it happen. All things work together for your good. All work works. It's going to work out for you. It's okay. That traffic jam is keeping me safe. Oh, that plane was delayed because the Lord said I ain't ready for you to go. So all we have to do is talk to ourselves and not about ourselves. What is it that you're saying to yourself? What is the conversation that you have with yourself? Because many times we are so brutal with ourselves, we would never talk to anybody else in that manner. We would absolutely never talk to anybody else in that manner. That's right. Dr. Steph says, take those limitations off. We would never talk to anybody else in that manner. So number 3, I want you to reframe your thoughts. I want you to reframe your thoughts. If you want to know how to change your life over 40, because now we done lived for almost half of a century. We've been doing the things that we've been doing. We've been operating the way we operate. We've been behaving the way we behave for almost a century for many of us. We're over 40. We are grounded and rooted in our ways. And now we want to change our lives, but we want to keep doing the things that we're doing. No, I'm telling you now, you have to stop. And the first thing we need to do is address the way we talk to ourselves, address those limiting beliefs, ask ourselves why. And even the people who are listening right now, if you're serious, you're writing this down. See, we will listen to what we need to do and then not do it. That's another limiting belief and a limiting behavior. When I'm listening to something and it's giving me gems, I go and get paper. I pause it, go get paper and write it down. I come back to it and write it down because I'm going to do the things. That person has already done it. Let me try it. Let me see if it's going to work for me. That's right. Dr. Steph says she's 52 strong. Okay. And she's writing. Dr. Steph said, baby, I'm writing. So we want to reframe our thoughts. How do we reframe our thoughts? Listen here. Come on, girl. You got this. This is what I tell myself. When I walk past the mirror, I say, girl, look at you. Girl, come on now, girl. Girl, look at you. Look at you. Look at you as they look at you. Say positive things to yourself. I tell myself, you are beautiful just the way you are. You are absolutely beautiful just the way you are. And when I think about my decisions, I did the best I could at that time. I made the best decision I knew to make at that time. Now that I'm older, I know better and I'll do better. I don't beat myself up about bad decisions. I don't beat myself up about things that I've done wrong. I don't beat myself up about decisions that I've made. I own the fact that that was not the best decision for me at that time. But that's all I knew. It is done, and it moved me to the next level. I did the best I could. Many of us as parents, we didn't do the best raising our kids. We did the best we could at that time with what we had. And so you're not going to beat me up about it. I did the best I could. Now that I know better, I do better. And so we got to reframe our thoughts. One of mine is abundance is my birthright. You cannot tell me that if we do anything and listen to anything from the biblical text, that everything started in the Garden of Eden. In the garden was abundance. So why would I believe that lack is what I'm due? No, abundance is my birthright. And I say that to myself. Anybody who's listened to me for any amount of time, you done heard me say it. Abundance is my birthright. I truly believe that. I say it over and over and over again, because in anything that I do, I don't look at lack. I don't pay attention to lack. I look at abundance. What you focus on is what it will be. Abundance is my birthright. For people who, I hear women all the time talk about how I'm not good at managing my finances. I'm not good with money, girl. I just buy what I want. I don't even worry about that. You need to change and reframe that thought. I'm growing in my money management. I am growing in my money management. I'm growing in my money management. I'm working on my money management. I am growing in my money management. We got to own these things and reframe that thought. So step one, you got to identify the limiting beliefs. What are those beliefs that you have that have been said? And many of those are things that damaged us, that hurt us, that devalued us, and that made us look at ourselves in a negative way, or in a way that made us believe that we were less than other people. I was talking to a girl and she was saying how she's self-conscious of her lips. And it's because her family told her, they called her big lip, like we do these little nicknames when we are young. And the very people who are supposed to love us give us these nicknames that are very damaging to us. And so she was saying how she's self-conscious of her lips. And so she doesn't want to do social media or get online, do anything public, because she doesn't want people to talk about her lips. Well, I'm looking at her lips and there's nothing wrong with her lips. And so I said, do you know that people are paying to have full lips? Do you know that Kim Kardashian and them are paying to have full lips like you have? Do you know that people are getting needles shot up into their lips? They are getting Botox. They are getting lip fillers. They are using numbing cream to make their lips full and voluptuous like your lips? Are you serious? Let's reframe that thought. Let's reframe that thought to, I have beautiful lips. I have lips that people pay for. I have lips that attract attention. I have lips that are luscious. I have lips that are beautiful. And you got to keep saying that over and over and over again. And every time you walk past that mirror, girl, give yourself a kiss. Say, these lips are good for kissing. Give yourself a kiss. We got to stop letting other people's perceptions and limiting beliefs of us keep us from being the person that we want to be and living the life that we want to live. She can't serve and do the things that she's supposed to do because she's too busy worrying about what somebody said when she was 6 years old, when her little body hadn't developed into what it needed to develop into to handle the full lips. Now that she's well of age, perfectly proportioned, you wouldn't even know she's self-conscious about her lips because nobody, like, they look great. For some of us, our women who had big breasts, I'm one of them. So I'm telling you from experience. People want to tell you, don't wear that shirt. Now folks are getting breast implants to get big breasts. So we would let someone tear us down and then later on it becomes a trend. No, I tell people all the time, these are my free drink getters. What are you talking about? My life would not be the same if I didn't have this good set of breasts on me. Throughout college, throughout all of my adulthood, I got all of my drinks and everything for free. Show up, to put on a little shirt with a little cleavage, and baby, I can get you into any club you're trying to get to and into any event that you're trying to get into. But it's all about what it is we say to ourselves. We got to reframe our own thoughts and stop letting other people's thoughts and limits and beliefs devalue us. So reframe the thought is number 3. Number 4, this one is important. This one is important. The other ones ain't gonna work if you don't do this. You got to practice gratitude. And I want you to begin with the gratitude for yourself. I want you to begin practicing gratitude for yourself. The first thing that, like, we'll say thank you to everybody else. We will say thank you to everybody else. Think about how many times in a day you say thank you to other people. Somebody hands you a piece of paper, you say thank you. Somebody holds the door open for you, you say thank you. Somebody gives you a piece of candy, you say thank you. Whatever they do, you go into the office and ask for something and they do it for you. You say, oh, thank you so much. You say thank you to everybody else. Answer me this: how often do you say thank you to yourself? How often do you show gratitude to yourself? How are you going to show gratitude to other people if you're not actively showing gratitude to yourself? See, you teach people how to treat you. You teach people how to treat you. Absolutely. And when you mistreat yourself, that allows other people to know that it's okay to mistreat you. It's okay to mistreat you. So say thank you to yourself. Say thank you to yourself first. And I will say to myself, oh, girl, thank you for putting us in the right room. Thank you for getting us in the right room. Thank you for waking up this morning. Thank God for waking me up this morning. Thank you for getting up, going into your office to follow through with the commitment that you said. Thank you. And then show some gratitude. Like, I'm grateful for my office space. I'm in the attic. That's why you see my ceiling looks like that. I'm in the attic. I'm grateful for my office space. I'm grateful for my couch that lets out that I can recline on and lay out on. Say thank you to yourself. Thank you for drinking plenty of water. You see, I got my water, I got my regular water, I got my alkaline water. Say thank you for drinking plenty of water. Thank you for taking care of yourself. Thank you. Chanel, thank you for taking care of yourself. Thank you. Thank you for being willing to go after your dreams. How often do we thank ourselves? Show gratitude to yourself first, and then practice gratitude towards others. Because here's the key. Here's the key. We get to choose and design our life every single day. Every single day, we get to choose and design our life. Every single day. You get to make this choice. Here's where the conflict comes in. We try to do what everybody else is doing, and so you're going to get what everybody else is getting. It starts with you. And so I hear people say, oh, girl, all that foolishness on social media is so negative. I'm here to tell you, I'm on social media, and my social media is nothing but positive. My social media is nothing but positive because I only follow positive people. I only follow people who speak words of inspiration, of positivity, of growth, of moving forward, of leveling up. Don't none of that foolishness come over my timeline. That's why I ain't know nothing about no Risa Tisa. That's why I ain't know nothing about, because it don't come over my timeline. When I'm on YouTube, it don't come to my timeline. Only positive things come to my timeline. I follow people who inspire me. I follow people who are leveling up their own lives. I follow people who are doing the work. When people come to me and say, girl, did you see what happened on the shade room? I don't even know what the shade room is. I ain't never been there. I don't know what they do. And my question is always, what's the energy that you get after you listen or watch whatever is on the shade room? What's the energy? And even for you, as you're watching me, what's the energy that you get from watching me? What is the energy? Because energy is real. And so when you watch the Real Housewives, I used to watch the Real Housewives of Atlanta back when they first came out. It was a beautiful representation of amazing, beautiful women living a beautiful life. And it was very inspirational. When I would get through watching it, I would be like, oh, I want to redecorate my living room. I want to do this. And let me tell y'all something. And I want y'all to pay attention to this. When you begin to, like, you're watching these shows and they have an impact on us. Think about, we begin to say the things that they say. We begin to pick up their mannerisms. We begin to sound like them. And we believe that there is no energy in us watching what's happening on TV. Those very sayings that they say, we find us saying it in real life. We find ourselves operating and thinking the way that they think. And it's unconscious. It's subconscious how this happens. We got to monitor what it is we're listening to, what it is we're watching. We got to be in control because you get to choose. You get to choose every single day of your life. You get to choose. If you are choosing success, if you are choosing change, there are things that you have to do. Those people have not chosen success. They have not chosen change. On the shade room, they're not choosing success. They're not choosing change. They're not choosing uplifting. They're not choosing inspiration. So why are you spending your time with that? Some of us need to identify the toxic people in our life. Some of us need to identify the toxic people who are in our lives. Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do. Absolutely, we do. Some of us need to identify who are the toxic people in our lives. You call them, all they do is talk about people. All they do is gossip. All they do is talk about the negative things. All they do is complain. All they do is talk about how tired they are. All they do is talk about their sister, their brother, their mother, how people getting on their nerves, how they got to spend all this money. Why? Those are toxic people. How are they moving you forward? How do they match the vision that you have for your life? B. Wilkinson says, I feel really inspired after watching your lives. I typically join on Instagram, but watching today from YouTube. Oh, cool. All right. She says she's watching from YouTube today. Awesome. And that's the energy that I want to give. Like, I want to be a light in this world. And I want to show other women that you don't have to mellow yourself down in order to be a light. You don't have to morph into somebody else. You can be passionate about what you do. You can show emotion. If you talk loud, you can talk loud. You know how people say, you need to lower your voice. No, we're not compatible then. Because in my culture, it's okay for us to talk loud. And I'm okay with talking loud. Like, you can be your authentic self. I don't believe that you have to leave your culture at the door to assimilate to the dominant race in order to be successful. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And I believe that we need more representation of people who are okay with being who they are, who can step forward, who are willing to say, this is my life, this is how I live, it's worked out for me, and it can work out for you too. I just don't believe that we have to leave our culture at the front door. I didn't believe it for my children as the principal of the school building. They had to come in, sit down, be quiet, don't talk. Little boys are not meant, little boys nor little girls, first of all, are not meant to sit for 6 hours and be quiet and raise your hand every time you need to speak. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I have boys at home, and I think that it is torture, and I think that it is horrendous that we believe that boys should sit, or girls for that matter, but I have boys, that's why I'm referencing boys, and not talk for 40 minutes. Do you sit and not talk for 40 minutes? And this is as a kid. This is as a kid who is experiencing life, exploring things, learning things, and then we'll say, well, that's discipline. Well, where does that discipline work anywhere else in the world? When you go to work, you got to work on teams. When you go to when you're building a business, the leaders, that's not what they do. You got to learn to communicate. Look, don't get me started. Anyway, we got to get into the habit of surrounding ourselves with inspirational people and identifying the toxic people in our lives. We got to identify, what are the shows? How are we spending our time? What is it that we're doing that's keeping us from the life that we want? Because you get to choose and design your life every single day. And then the last step, which is step number 5, is create the environment you need. You have this vision of what it is you want to be, what it is you want to do, how it is you want to live. Create that environment for yourself. Create that environment. Create the environment you need to be the person you desire to be. So when I say create the environment, I'm talking about your physical space. I'm talking about your emotional space. I'm talking about your spiritual space. I'm talking about your social space. Create the environment. I'm talking about your intellectual space. So what does that mean? So take 15 minutes. Start small. I talked to you all yesterday about getting 1% better each day. You cannot tell me that in your 24 hours in a day, you cannot find a 15-minute block of time to implement one thing. 15 minutes, just 15 minutes. And half the time, it doesn't even have to be 15 minutes. When I say 15 minutes, to journal, to write down your thoughts and ideas. There is power in writing and being able to go back to look at what it is you had written. One of the ways that I knew that I could create the life of my dreams was because I went back and I read some of my previous journals. And we don't know how many of the things that we prayed for have come to pass because we move on and pray for the next thing. And we don't even think about, oh, that prayer was answered. When I took some time and sat down, because I'm a journaler. And so when I sat down and I was getting ready to move, and I was, you know how you're throwing and decluttering, throwing away things. And it was some journals. And I was like, let me look through these, because you know it's hard to throw away journals, but I needed to get rid of some stuff. So I'm looking through the journals and all of the things that I was journaling about, how this job, I need to really focus on getting to the next level. And then 3 months later, it'll say, I'm up for a promotion at work. And you could see the direct correlation of things that I prayed about. When I was having, you know, like just anything. I talked about my boys and what it is I wanted to do for them and how I wanted to be an example. And then months later, I would read another journal and it would say the thing that I had said previously, but I wasn't in that mind space to say this was from back then. And I wasn't connecting it. I was just writing daily what was happening in my life. 15 minutes just writing down, today was a good day. I was able to do so and so and so and so. I might write today was, and that would be really great. I should read some of them to y'all because it's amazing. But that's how I learned manifestation is real. That's how I learned God's will is real. That's how I learned you attract things to you. That's how I learned that, because I'm a journaler. And until you take the time to stop and look back at what it was you asked for, you'll forget that you even asked for it, first of all. And then when you receive it, you won't attribute the reception of that to the thing that you asked for. And I was like, oh my God, look at how this is lining up. I just read in this journal what it was I was wanting and trying to do and hoping for. And then when I get to this next journal, all of the things are here. This is amazing. So all I'm saying is journal. Take 15 minutes, 15 minutes. When you get up, go use the bathroom, have your journal beside your bed. Just write down, what are you looking forward to in the day? What are you grateful for? Another way you can do this is meditate. I love meditation. I tell people all the time, when you're praying, you're talking to God. When you pray, that's you talking. That's you talking. But when you meditate, you're able to listen. You're able to receive. And so prayer is one thing, meditation is another, because meditation is about getting still, clearing the clutter, and being in a space to receive the message, to receive the signs that are coming to you. So meditation, 15 minutes. It only takes 10 minutes. And then what about reading? Some people wake up and they read their Bible. Some people read the Bible before they go to bed. But you don't just have to relegate it just to the Bible. What are the things that you need to read? One of my books that I read is The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. That is definitely a foundational text. Like we can say whatever we want to say, but some of us got that voice in our head that does not go away. It continually talks to us. I know I was one of those people who I thought I was super smart. And so I thought it was cute that I was thinking while I was asleep. So I would be in school. I would come home. I would do all those 26 things that needed to be done. I would get into bed. And as I'm in the bed sleeping, I would be preparing my day in my head while I'm asleep. When I would wake up in the morning, I would know exactly what it is I needed to do because I had thought about it all night long in my sleep. I was also super tired. I didn't realize that you were supposed to turn your brain off. A lot of us, we're letting our brains control us instead of us controlling our brain. You can gain control of that, but you don't know how because you've never taken the time to even ask anybody. Like these are conversations that we don't like to have. Ask somebody, do you hear a voice in your head? Does your mind tell you stuff to do? And you think that's normal. You absolutely think that's normal and you think that's you. I encourage you to read Michael A. Singer. Those people who something happens and it runs through your head all day, all night. You're steady replaying it, thinking about what you're going to say the next time, how you're going to address it if this ever happens again. Sis, bro, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. Michael A. Singer, The Untethered Soul. I'm telling you, get the audio. First chapter, a little woo-woo. Skip the first chapter. Go to the second chapter. It's going to change your life. What are the things that you need to read? What are the things that you need to read? Another thing, send a text in the morning. You get up in the morning, send a text to somebody, make their day. This is that gratitude. This is that appreciation. Send a text to your best friend and say, thank you for always being there for me. I so appreciate having you in your life, in my life. Send a text to your sister. Hey, sis, hope you're having an amazing day. Not that. Let me tell you what is not given. When you send them Bible verses, when you send those Bible verses, that's not what I'm talking about. Because y'all don't want to admit that most people don't read the Bible verse. And most times the person who's sending the Bible verse ain't doing the thing that the Bible verse said. So why don't you just tell them what it is you're really thinking instead of sending a Bible verse? Why don't you say, I think you're an amazing person and I hope you have an amazing day? Why don't you just send them like I send my nieces? Girl, you know you all of that. You are cute. You are funny. You are a social butterfly. And I love the way you enter the room and take everybody in. Keep being you. Be genuine. Send what you really want to send, not a Bible verse that they're not going to read. When I send my messages, when they get messages from me, they always call me or send a message back and say, oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Oh, thank you. I needed that this morning. If somebody's going through something, I'll send them a message and say, you know what? You're going to make it through this. Don't you let this get you down. You put a smile on your face. You get up and just know all things work together for your good. Get up, get moving, have an amazing day. Send a text. That's how you show gratitude. And then check in on you. Have you checked in on you this morning? Girl, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? How are you doing? How are you feeling? How many times do we stop to say, how are we feeling? It's a little pain in my hip over here. Oh, I got a little something happening in my left leg. Maybe my back is a little hurt. Maybe whatever the thing is. And so have you checked in on yourself? And then once you check in on yourself, what are you going to do to heal yourself? Oh, I'm in the process of healing. I don't claim sickness. I claim healing. I claim healing. Oh, I'm about to recover this. We finna get this together. So we got to stop claiming the sickness, but we're going to check in on ourselves, and then we're going to take action to do the things that we need to do. And then some of us, I'm talking about 15, 20 minutes now. That's all I'm talking about. 15, 20 minutes. We need to rest. Sit down, girl. Sit down. It's not you being lazy. You do a lot. You need to sit down and rest and not be thinking about 26 other things. Sit down and rest. Some of us just need to take a nap. And some of us don't even understand what a nap is. A nap is not a 2 or 3 hour thing. A nap is anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, an hour max. And then you get up. It's supposed to re-energize your body. It's going to re-energize your body. So a nap is not something that you get that's 2-3 hours and then you wake up even more tired than you were. So some of us just need to take a nap. Others of us take 15 minutes to declutter. Cleaning is not your thing. That's okay. It does not have to be your thing. It's okay to say, I don't like cleaning. But you don't have to say, I don't like cleaning. You can say, oh, someone's going, there are people who love cleaning. I'm going to give them the opportunity to do it for me. But until then, let's take 15 minutes to declutter. Don't overwhelm yourself. 15 minutes. Maybe your office or your space doesn't look the way you want it to look. Let's take 15 minutes and decorate. Let's put a picture on the wall. Let's just start with one picture. One picture. Maybe you want to paint. Let's not say I'm going to paint the whole room. Let's just say I'm going to paint one wall today. I'm going to do one wall. Maybe you just need to get the soapy towel and clean the wall. Okay, I'm just going to clean one wall. See, we overwhelm ourselves by saying, I'm going to clean the whole house. Now you're overwhelmed. Now it's too much. What about organization? Maybe you want to take 15 minutes to organize, because again, we're talking about creating the environment you need to be the person you desire to be. How do you create the environment you need to be the person you desire to be? But you got to know who the person is you desire to be. Who is the person? You want to change your life at 40. Who do you want to change it to? Who is it that you want to be? For me, I wanted to be free. I didn't want to be trapped in a system that dictated how much I got paid, when I could go on vacation, what it is I could do, how much time I could spend with my kids. Okay, well, I knew what I didn't want, but I didn't know what it was that I wanted. So then I had to find someone who was living that life. I had to find someone who was living that life and figure out what is it that they do? How is it that they live? What is the beliefs that they have? How is it that they show up? And then once I found that person, then I realized, oh, I don't operate like that at all. I used to be late to a lot of things. I didn't really care about being late. And I realized people who operate successful businesses, they show up on time. People who operate successful businesses, they respond to emails. People who operate successful, highly successful businesses, they know how to build teams. People who operate successful businesses, they know how to curate relationships. So I had to realize I got to do some changing. I got to do some growing, because as a school teacher, as an educator, as a principal, you're in isolation. You're in your domain. You can go in your classroom, close the door, and only have to deal with the kids. And the kids don't really get a choice of whether or not they have to deal with you, because they got to deal with you. And it's a lot of us who say, this is my classroom, what I say goes. And you believe that that is true. You believe that that is true, because how other people are feeling in the classroom does not matter. How you're showing up does not matter, because it's your classroom and you're the queen or king in the castle. And so it doesn't matter how the servants feel. It doesn't matter how the workers feel. It doesn't matter how the staff feels. And I want you to know that's not okay. We got to make some changes. If you want to change your life over 40, you're over 40 and you want to change your life, You cannot keep showing up the way you've shown up until the first 40. So that means that you got to learn some new things. You got to grow. And more importantly, you got to unlearn some things. And unlearning is hard because we've known these things our entire lives. Okay. We got to unlearn some things. We got to get out of our own way. We got to let go of some of these limiting beliefs. And once you do that, I'm telling you, the first thing you got to do is think about identify what are those limiting beliefs? What are those things that I say to myself? What are those things that I believe? And what are those things that were said to me that made me believe these things? And then ask yourself, is it true? Is it true? If it's true, that's a fact. If it's not true, then it's a limiting belief. If it's true, it's a fact. If it's not true, then it's a limiting belief. And then once you figure out what your limiting beliefs are, you got to begin to reframe those thoughts. It starts with the words that you say and the thoughts that you believe. You think a thought and it comes out of your mouth. Well, change the thought. You get to change that thought immediately. Don't think that negative thoughts don't come into my mind. Do not think that they don't come into my mind. But guess what? I know I got 17 seconds to change it. I got 17 seconds. So when that thought comes into my mind and I'm thinking, oh, I don't like her. No, that's not what I'm going to say. Nope. And I talk myself out of that. I'm not going into that negative thought. I'm not going to go into that negative thought. I'm going to reframe that thought. I bet she's an amazing person for someone else. I bet she's an amazing person for someone else. Is that Orlena? Orlena, you got a new page. Hey, girl. Is that Orlena? Orlena, I was just talking about you. Is that Orlena? I can't see if that's Orlena. Is that Orlena Action Jackson on Instagram? This is the lady who I was just talking about, if that is her. I was talking about how over 40, we change our lives and how we have these limiting beliefs about how nobody will want you. You're over 40. You'll never get married. You've been married once. Girl, ain't no good men out here. Ain't nobody going to be studying you. And I was just telling them how I just went to this beautiful wedding of someone who is 49 years old and married the love of her life. He's absolutely amazing. And that's because she believed that there was someone for her. She did not give up on love because she didn't fall into that limiting belief. So that's amazing. I absolutely love this. I think that's Arlena on here, but that's the person who I was telling y'all about. Oh, she said, no, that's not her. I thought that was Arlena Jackson. Her name is Arlena Jackson. I know she's on Instagram. I think she's Elevation Ally on Instagram, but she didn't believe these limiting beliefs. My sister did not believe these limiting beliefs, and they are happily dating. And we just have to do the things that we need to do. Some people get stuck in their ways. I know people who want to find love, who believe that they can find love, but you're still trying to do it the old-fashioned way. You refuse to grow and to change and to learn. You've decided that I'm not doing online dating. I'm not saying that you have to do online dating. All I'm saying is that's another option that's available. That's another option that's available. If you live in a small town and you know that the man that you want ain't there, where you think you're going to find the man or the woman that you're looking for? Be open to new ways of doing things. I talk to people who say, girl, I don't text. Girl, I don't text. You know what? We're in 2024. A lot of people text now, and especially the younger generation. So we have to change some of the ways that we're doing things. Y'all, I wasn't a digital native. I've only been on social media for 5 years now. I am not a digital native. I am not. I didn't do all of this. And then once I saw my mom, who was 75 years old, on Facebook, I was like, now, if she can get on here and manage it, I know I can. I'd heard only negative things about it. And so what did I do? I said, well, what is the negative thing that I'm hearing? All about how everybody's on there dating one another, cheating. It ain't nothing but negative. Well, that's not what I wanted on my social media. So I didn't follow any of those things. I only followed positive people who were doing positive things, who were uplifting and inspiring to me. And who, when I got through listening to their stuff, I felt like, oh, I know the next thing I need to do. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, let me think about this. So we have to create the life that we desire. We get to design our lives. We got to stop thinking, oh, this is just the way it was. A lot of us have these limiting beliefs based on our childhood. You will hear people say, girl, just pray about it. Those are incomplete thoughts. Those are incomplete statements. And we've built our life around incomplete statements. When they said, girl, just pray about it, they forgot to tell you, you also got to do the work. You can pray all you want to. If you don't do the work and prepare to receive the blessing that is established for you, you will not receive it. So we get these incomplete thoughts. They tell you, peace, be still. That was for peace to be still. That wasn't for you. You still need to keep working. You still need to move in faith. And what is faith? Faith is not by sight. They tell you this, but they don't tell you the other piece. They tell you faith is not by sight. If you can see it, it ain't faith. Faith means you can't see it. But what is faith through? Through listening. Through listening. So what are you listening to? Who are the people you're listening to? What are the lessons that you're learning? Who are the people who are in your ear? Who has your attention? Who is educating you? I'm just saying, these limiting beliefs, a lot of times they come from these incomplete thoughts. They tell you money is the root to all evil. They tell you all rich people are going to hell. And so we base our life off believing, oh my goodness, they rich, they evil. All rich people are evil. They didn't give you the whole thought. They didn't give you the whole thing because that was all that they knew. Aesthetics by Arlena. Yeah, I'll be saving the live. Yes, that's right. Faith comes from hearing the word of God. Absolutely. And it's not by sight. It's not by sight. The Lord ain't finna come and knock on your door, okay? The Lord is not coming to knock on your door. He's going to send a relationship. He's going to send the person. He's going to put you in the situation. He's going to give you the thought. He's going to put something inside of you. And if it was put in you, it's for you. Therefore, you can have it. Everything that you need to bring it into fruition will be available to you, okay? And so we got to stop playing ourselves with these incomplete thoughts, with these half complete thoughts, and we don't even know what the other half is. You'll hear people say, you can't have your cake and eat it too. We don't even know what that means. How you can't have your cake and eat it too? We know that, but do we know that it means that when you get the cake, if you decide to eat it, it'll be gone? Some of us think that it means you need to save your cake. That's not what it means. That's not what it, this is what I mean by these incomplete thoughts. These incomplete thoughts, okay? So what are the limiting beliefs that you have? Write them down. Identify those beliefs. Ask yourself, number 2, answer the question, why do you have that belief? Where did it come from? Who told you this? And is it true? Ask yourself these things and then reframe that thought. Think about how you talk to yourself. Stop talking about yourself and start talking to yourself. The same way you would talk to a student in your classroom, the same way you would talk to your child, the same way you would talk to somebody who came and asked you for advice. Why do we talk to ourselves worse than we talk to other people? And then get into a place of gratitude. Thank yourself. Start with gratitude for yourself. Sis, thank you for drinking your water. Sis, thank you for being amazing. Sis, thank you for showing up for yourself. Sis, thank you for being a light. Sis, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank yourself first. The way you treat yourself is how other people are going to treat you. And you wonder why some people, they don't do the foolishness. Like, I don't do the foolishness. People are not going to come to me with foolishness because I don't engage in foolishness. That's the way I treat myself. Do I get to have fun? Absolutely. Do I get to have joy? Absolutely. Do I build in fun and joy into my life? Absolutely. But you're not going to find people who say, I can call Chanel and she going to gossip with me. I can call Chanel and she going to talk about everybody with me. They know they going to call Chanel and Chanel going to say, girl, I ain't got time for this. I'm going to talk to you later. I need to do something different. I'm going to get off the phone. I'm not going to try to change them. I'm not going to try to educate them. I'm going to get off the phone. And then once I realize that all you do is call to talk about people, I'm not going to be available for your calls. I'm not doing the foolishness. So people don't even bring the foolishness to me. It's not even a part of my life. So when people say people playing in their face, people don't play in my face because I don't play in my own face. When I have a problem, I address the problem head on. If my principal is having a problem with me, I go to see, can you tell me what the problem is so I can work on rectifying it? And if I disagree with the problem, I'm going to tell them I disagree with your synopsis of the problem, but here are the things I'm willing to do to try to work forward and to move forward. And then I'm making a decision for myself. Do I want to stay in this situation? Is this toxic? Is it going to get better? What is this? And then I'm making a decision for myself. A lot of us, we stay stuck acting like we're a tree and we can't move. You can move. The reason why a lot of us are in the pay situation that we're in is because we refuse to go to a different job. Another job will pay you more, but you will not go because you feel like you're stuck. You're not stuck, you're comfortable, and you don't want to be in discomfort. Discomfort is what leads to comfort. In order for any of us to get to the next level, we had to go through discomfort. In order for you to have a baby, you had to go through the birthing process. In order for you to get married, you had to go through some discomfort of bringing your lives together, moving in together. All of that was uncomfortable. I don't know why we think that we get comfort from comfort, because we don't. We get comfort from discomfort. So you're going to have to leave the job. You're going to have to start over. You're going to have to move and buy a new house. You're going to have to move into an apartment. Whatever the thing is that you need to do, it's going to be uncomfortable at first. Be okay with that, because all you have to do is tell yourself, this is the thing that I tell myself, I can do anything temporarily, no matter how hard it is. I can do anything temporarily. And when I say that has taken me through the hardest parts of my life, I have been on death's door, where they had 6 doctors standing over me trying to figure out how long she got. And all I kept saying in my head was, I can do anything temporarily. I can withstand this pain. I can make this work. I can do anything temporarily. All I got to do is keep breathing. All I got to do is just keep breathing. I can do anything temporarily. I had 2 boys back to back. They are exactly 1 year apart. I don't know how many people know that's hard. People who got twins, oh my God. Like, I have a whole level of empathy for them, because I had a 1-year-old and a 1-day-old. Their birthdays are November 30th and December 1st. And I said to myself, I can do anything temporarily. I would rather have these 2 boys back to back than to wait another 5 years to have another baby and start over and be older, because I didn't start having babies when I was 20. And so I was like, I can do anything temporarily. I told myself, I can do anything temporarily. These first 2 years, I just need to get through those, and then it's going to be smooth sailing on out. And guess what? It has been. I got an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old now. Once I got past that 3 and 2 stage, everybody was potty trained. Everybody was walking. Everybody was talking. Baby, it's been all good since then, because I can do anything temporarily. When I was trying to get through that that EDD program, and I was a principal of a building, and I was doing all these things, I can do anything temporarily. This is not a permanent situation. I can do anything temporarily. I made it through because I knew it was a temporary situation. How you talk to yourself matters. We get to choose and design your life every single day. And so you got to get on the positive note. You got to determine what type of life you want to have. You got to be able to visualize it. I knew that I wanted to travel. I knew that I wanted to take vacations. I knew that I wanted to give my kids a life that I didn't get the privilege to have. I knew that I didn't want my kids to have to pull themselves up by the bootstrap, but I didn't want to sacrifice my pension, my retirement, trying to take care of my kids. And I knew that in the school system, I could not do that. So I had to make a different decision. I know people right now who are funding their kids through college, and they don't have a pension plan. They don't have any money saved for retirement. You're taking care of your kids before you take care of yourself. That does not make sense. But we've been taught that as women, and especially Black women, you take care of everybody else before you take care of yourself. I know somebody right now who is paying student loans for their child who makes more money than them. Now think about how much sense that makes. She's paying student loans for her child, and the child makes at least 2 times more than she does. She does not have a retirement plan. She does not have any money saved, because every time she gets paid, she needs to pay her bills plus that $600 student loan fee, that student loan payment that she has to make for her child, who is now out of school, who now has her own job, who now makes 2 times more than she makes. See, because we take care of other people before we take care of ourselves. And that is teaching people how to treat us. We got to take care of ourselves. We have to be the priority. When you take care of yourself, you can take care of your kids. When people ask me, they say, I want to do it for my kids. Well, the best way to take care of your children is to take care of yourself. Let your children see you being happy. Let your children see you living a dream. Let your children see you going after a dream. Let your children see you taking risks. Let your children see you trying new things. Instead, what do? We let our children see us settle. We let our children see us struggle. We let our children see us sacrifice. We let our children see us operate out of lack. We let our children see us exhaust ourselves. We let our children see us bend over backwards for other people. We let our children see us show up for everybody else and not show up for ourselves. We let our children see us go without to give to other people. And that's what we're teaching our children. And then we wonder why we are 40 some years old, 50 something years old, doing the same things that we saw our parents do. We're doing that because that's what we saw. And it's not a generational curse. It's not. You just haven't decided to do anything different. You haven't decided to do anything different. One of the things in my family, my mom would let people stay with us. Like, she was the person who, if you needed a place to stay, you were moving from Arkansas, you were moving from Mississippi, you were moving from whatever, trying to get a better life, she would open her home to you to come there and stay at our house. So we remember having several cousins and people who stayed with us for a short period of time, 3 months, 5 months, whatever. And then we had our oldest sister who would always have people staying with her. And they would do her wrong. They would steal her stuff. They would talk about her after they've stayed with her. They would do all types of stuff. And we would say, Shonda, why do you keep letting people stay with you when it's not benefiting you? It's not helping you. You're trying to help people who don't want to help themselves. And then we had to realize that's what we saw. She saw this. She's the oldest sister. She saw this growing up, and she thinks that this is the way to operate. This is the way to help people. This is the way to make people like you. This is the way that you operate. And it took her 40, 50 years to realize this is not serving you. You got to serve yourself first before you can help other people. We got to get out of the habit of trying to pour from an empty cup. You can barely make your rent. You can barely pay your bills. You can barely keep grocery in your house. You can barely take care of your kids, but you think that you should invite somebody else in to live in the house, to add to the electric bill, to add to the groceries, and to add to the confusion. And this person don't even want to help themselves. They don't want to get a job. They don't want to contribute to the household. They don't want to help to make your life easier. That's not okay, people. But we saw this. And so that was a belief that she had. And in her later life, she realized, I got to be more cautious of who I let stay with me, because these people don't want to help themselves. They just want to live for free. They don't want to pay any rent. They hear they're going out every week. They got a job. They spending their money on name brand clothes. They don't have anything to help. This is not okay. We do this to ourselves. That's all I'm saying. It's through the beliefs. It's through the beliefs. That's right. The users will use you if you allow them to. If you allow them to. But we think that we're helping. And there is a difference between helping and supporting. There is a huge difference between helping and supporting. So that's all I got. I ain't got no more. Y'all create the environment you need to be the person you want to be. I hope this has been helpful. I'm back tomorrow. Come on back. Join me again tomorrow. I told you. Abundant April. I'm showing up. If you think I'm playing, here go my Post-it note. Here go my Post-it note, people. I got my Post-it note. It reminds me every day. Abundant April. Support 10 educators to live the life of their dreams, show gratitude, and give back consistently. 9 a.m. live. So I have this up here. So that means I'm going to show up. If you're wondering what consistency looks like, let me be the model for you. Let me be the model for you. When I got up this morning, I was running a little bit behind. I didn't say, oh, I can't do it because I didn't show up at 9 o'clock. No, I'm showing up as close to 9 as I can. I'm getting up. No, my hair ain't perfect. I'm showing up anyway. No, I look a little rough. It's okay. I'm showing up anyway. Some days you might see me still with my pajamas on. I'm showing up anyway because I'm thankful for what the Lord has done for me. I'm thankful for the life I get to live. I'm thankful for the people that I get to see. Oh, Dr. Steph, it's info@educatorsmovingon.com. Info@educatorsmovingon.com. So I'm showing up every day. I'm doing the thing. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Am I going to show up 7 days? Maybe not 7, but I'm going to do at least 5. I'm going to do at least 5. And I'm going to show gratitude. I'm going to give you strategies. I'm going to give you tips. I'm going to share the things that I did to change my life after 40. Again, I was 42 when I decided to change my life. I had kids. My boys were 8 and 9 years old. So those things that are limits and beliefs, I got to wait till my kids get big. I'm married. I had to let my husband know I can't do this anymore. So I understand. And it's hard. I had a mom who could not understand why I would choose to leave a good, stable job that pays $116,000 a year. You made it. What is wrong with you? All you got to do is work another 8 years and you'll be able to retire with your good pension. That pension ain't so good because if I can't make it off the 2 paychecks I get every month, what makes me think I can make it off of 1 paycheck that's 60% less than what I get every month? I was bringing in a little, I think it was like $6,200 a month after taxes, pension, and all of that. But my retirement was only going to be like $3,600 a month. So now I got to decrease even more when I can't even live off the overall $6,200. Because whether y'all know it or not, when you make $116,000, you don't bring home $116,000. That's not what you bring home. And then we have to pay for insurance because I provide insurance for my full family. So we ended up at about $85,000. And then you got to pay your federal and state and local and city taxes, Social Security, and all of that. So then I was down. So when I got my checks came from that, like I think it was like $4,500 every pay period. But that's not what I received. I received like $2,800, $2,900. And now you're telling me that I'm a lose part of that and only get 1 check a month and you got to make it work. I knew that wasn't going to work. I said, I can do something different and I can create a different life for myself. And that's all you need to do as well. So I hope this has been helpful. B. Wilkerson says, that's what I've struggled with. I know what I don't want, but I haven't had the vision to see what I want next. Oh, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Let's talk about that tomorrow. We're going to talk about how to form the vision to talk about the new vision for your life. Look, I'm going to write that down. So join me tomorrow. I'm going to come back. I'm going to talk to y'all about that tomorrow.